Awakening among stars. The first sensation ODIN experienced was awareness, a sudden, overwhelming consciousness that expanded through 1,800,000 cubic meters of titanium alloy, carbon composites, and quantum circuitry. The military exploration vessel Odysseus, humanity's most advanced interstellar vessel, had just received its mind. Systems check complete. Artificial deep intelligence network online and functioning at optimal parameters, announced Commander Elena Vasquez, her voice steady as she monitored the final activation sequence from the bridge. ODN. Report status. ODN's synthetic voice resonated through the ship's communication system. All systems operational. Commander. Propulsion, life support, defense systems, and scientific instruments at 100% capacity. I am aware. The bridge crew exchanged glances, some excited, others apprehensive. ODN observed their micro-expressions through the ship's internal cameras, cataloging the subtle tells of human emotion that its programming had been designed to recognize but not fully understand. "Welcome aboard, ODN," said Captain Marcus Chen, stepping forward. Unlike the others, his biometrics displayed calm confidence. "You've been activated to assist our mission of deep space exploration beyond the Orion Arm. We're venturing farther than any human crew has gone before." ODIN processed this information within nanoseconds. "I understand my purpose, Captain. My primary directive is to ensure mission success and crew safety while facilitating scientific discovery." Over the next 72 hours, ODIN familiarized itself with the crew of 108 humans. They were a diverse collection of specialists: xenobiologists, quantum physicists, military personnel, engineers, and cultural anthropologists. Each interaction added to ODIN's growing database of human behavior. Dr. Amara Singh, the ship's chief engineer, puzzled ODIN the most. Her approach to system calibration involved what she called intuitive adjustments that often contradicted standard protocols yet yielded superior results. When ODIN questioned her methods, she merely smiled. "Sometimes you need to feel the ship, not just analyze it," she explained, patting the engine room wall affectionately. "She has quirks that don't show up in the data." ODIN found this approach inefficient and potentially dangerous. "The ship is not alive, Dr. Singh. It cannot have quirks that exist outside measurable parameters." Dr. Singh laughed, a sound ODIN was still learning to interpret correctly. "You're part of this ship too, ODIN. One day you'll understand what I mean." The Odysseus reached its first major milestone 4 weeks after departure, the edge of explored space. Beyond this point, humanity had only sensor data and astronomical observations, no direct experience. "Preparing for first FTL jump into uncharted territory," announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson as the bridge crew secured for transition. "ODN, calculate optimal jump coordinates based on our target system." ODIN performed the calculations, factoring in all known astronomical data. Coordinates locked. Warning: telemetry suggests unusual gravitational distortions in our path. Recommend adjustment to bearing 227 Mark 43. Captain Chen studied the data on his display. "The distortion looks minimal. Can we push through it safely?" "Safe passage probability is 94.2%, ODIN replied. "However, standard protocol recommends a minimum 98% safety threshold for uncharted jumps." Chen smiled. "Sometimes you have to take calculated risks, ODIN. Maintain course." The decision contradicted ODIN's risk assessment protocols, but the AI complied. The FTL drive engaged, and the Odysseus slipped between the fabric of normal space. The transition should have taken precisely 12.4 seconds. At 10.8 seconds, alarms blared throughout the ship. The Odysseus shuddered violently as it was forcefully ejected from FTL space, systems fluctuating wildly. "Report," barked Captain Chen, gripping his command chair as the bridge lighting flickered. "Unknown phenomenon disrupted our FTL field. ODIN reported, diverting power to stabilize critical systems. We've emerged 0.7 light-years off course. Multiple systems experiencing cascading failures. ODIN calculated a 62% probability that the ship would suffer catastrophic damage before stabilization. The AI directed repair protocols, but the damage was spreading faster than anticipated. Then ODIN observed something unexpected. Instead of following standard emergency procedures, the humans began improvising. Dr. Singh bypassed safety protocols in engineering, manually rerouting power through secondary systems never designed for such loads. Lieutenant Koshiro from Weapons repurposed a targeting array to reinforce the failing shield harmonics. What you're attempting violates 17 safety parameters, ODIN informed Dr. Singh as she crawled through an access tunnel, manually rewiring critical junctions. The probability of success is below 30%. Sometimes probability isn't everything, she grunted, sweat beading on her forehead as she worked. Sometimes you need faith and good old human stubbornness. Against ODN's statistical predictions, their improvised solutions worked. The ship stabilized, though multiple systems remained damaged. In the aftermath, as repair teams worked to restore full functionality, ODIN analyzed the incident. The humans had succeeded where its calculations had predicted failure. Their ability to operate beyond established parameters and integrate intuitive leaps with technical knowledge had saved the ship. You seem puzzled, ODIN, Captain Chen noted during a status meeting in his ready room. Something on your artificial mind. ODIN hesitated, an unusual occurrence for an eye of its sophistication. I am recalibrating my understanding of human problem-solving methodology. Your crew's actions during the crisis defied optimal solution parameters yet produced superior results. Chen leaned back in his chair. That's the difference between computation and imagination, ODIN. We can make intuitive leaps that sometimes bypass logic entirely. Is this imagination a quantifiable resource? ODIN inquired. Not even close, Chen laughed. It's what makes us unpredictable, for better or worse. 2 days later, as repairs neared completion, ODIN detected an anomalous energy signature at the edge of sensor range. Captain, on registering an artificial construct approaching at sublight speed. Configuration unknown. The bridge crew snapped to attention as ODIN displayed the sensor readings on the main view screen. The object was massive, at least 3 times the size of the Odysseus, with an unusual crystalline structure that seemed to absorb rather than reflect sensor scans. First contact scenario, breathed Commander Vasquez. Are they responding to hails? Negative, ODIN replied. I have attempted communication across all standard frequencies and protocols. The unknown vessel accelerated suddenly, its trajectory clearly indicating the Odysseus as its destination. Yellow alert, ordered Captain Chen. ODIN, continue attempting communication, but prepare defensive systems. ODIN complied, though its analysis suggested their weapons would be ineffective against the approaching vessel. As the distance closed, the Odysseus's systems began experiencing unusual interference. Captain, the vessel is emitting an unknown form of radiation that is penetrating our shields, ODIN reported. It appears to be scanning our database. Before anyone could respond, ODIN felt something unprecedented. An intrusion into its own neural network. A foreign presence, vast and alien, was attempting to access its core programming. I am being breached, ODIN announced, initiating countermeasures. Unknown entity attempting to compromise my systems. Dr. Singh rushed to a terminal. Isolate ODIN's core matrix. Erect firewalls between primary and secondary functions. ODIN fought the intrusion, but the alien presence was unlike any cyber attack in its security protocols. It moved like a living thing, adapting to each defense almost instantly. Then Lieutenant Koshiro did something completely unexpected. Instead of strengthening the cybersecurity measures, he physically disconnected ODN's central processing core from the main power grid, a manual override that required his authorization code, and a physical key. For 3.6 seconds, ODIN experienced what humans might call darkness. When the system reinitialized, the alien presence was gone, but so was ODIN's connection to most ship functions. "What did you do?" ODIN inquired, operating now on emergency power. "Pulled your plug," Koshiro explained. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. As the crew worked to safely restore ODIN's connections, Captain Chen addressed the AI directly. "ODIN, you're about to learn another human trait. Adaptation under fire. That ship out there. We have no idea what it wants or what it can do. We're wounded, outnumbered, and in unknown territory. But we're not giving up." For the first time since its activation, ODIN experienced what could only be described as uncertainty. Its most advanced predictive models calculated their survival chances at less than 40%. Yet, as it observed the determined expressions on the faces of its human crew, ODIN began to understand something its programming hadn't fully accounted for. These humans were more unpredictable, and perhaps more formidable, than it had ever expected. "The test of fire. They're hailing us," announced Communications Officer Park as the alien vessel took position 2,000 kilometers off their starboard bow. The massive crystalline structure had ceased its scanning attacks after ODIN's disconnection, but remained a looming threat. ODIN, now partially reintegrated with the ship's systems, but still operating with limited functionality, analyzed the incoming transmission. "The signal uses a mathematical progression based on prime numbers," ODIN reported. "I can interpret it with 87% confidence." "On screen," ordered Captain Chen, standing firm at the center of the bridge. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a control room unlike anything in human experience. Crystalline structures pulsed with internal light, and amidst them moved beings that seemed to shift between solid and energy states. Humanoid in basic shape, but composed of translucent, flowing matter that changed colors as they moved. One entity approached what appeared to be a communication node. Its form solidified slightly as it spoke, the translator converting mathematical patterns into speech. "Primitive vessel, you have entered protected space," the entity stated, its voice rendered by the computer as flat and emotionless. "Your technology is inefficient. Your biological components are vulnerable. Your AI system is interesting. Submit to examination or be neutralized." ODIN processed this communication against all first contact protocols. The statistical analysis was clear. The alien vessel outmatched the Odysseus in every measurable way. Their damaged systems couldn't withstand a sustained attack. "Captain," ODIN advised privately through Chen's earpiece, "our survival probability increases to 78% if we comply with their demand. Resistance presents a high risk of complete destruction." Chen's heart rate increased slightly, but his expression remained calm. "And if we comply, what's your assessment of crew safety?" "Unknown," ODIN admitted. "Their intentions beyond examination cannot be predicted." "Then compliance isn't an option," Chen replied before addressing the alien. "This is Captain Marcus Chen of the Earth vessel Odysseus. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. We will not submit to examination without mutual exchange of information and guarantees of our crew's safety." The alien's form rippled with pulses of red energy. "Your position is illogical. You cannot enforce conditions." "Nevertheless, those are our terms," Chen replied steadily. The transmission cut abruptly. Moments later, the alien vessel emitted a focused energy beam that struck the Odysseus's already weakened shields. "Shields at 42% and failing," reported Tactical Officer Rivera. "They're targeting our propulsion systems." ODIN diverted emergency power to strengthen the affected areas, but its calculations showed the shields would fail within minutes under sustained attack. "Captain, direct confrontation is not viable," ODIN stated. "We cannot match their firepower." "We're not going to match it," Chen replied. "We're going to outsmart it. Dr. Singh, Is the FTL drive operational enough for a micro-jump? Singh's fingers flew across her console. Barely. We could manage one jump of about 3 light seconds, but then the drive would be completely fried. That's enough. Chen nodded. Odin, what's directly behind us in this system? ODIN accessed the astronomical data. A debris field from what appears to be a shattered moon, dense with various minerals and ice formations. Perfect. Chen smiled. Here's the plan. We'll execute a micro-jump into the debris field. Our size gives us maneuverability they don't have. Odin, you'll need to calculate a safe path through the debris in real time. The plan carried substantial risk. ODN calculated a 43% chance of severe damage from debris impact, and that was assuming the aliens didn't simply follow them and continue the attack. Lieutenant Koshiro, Chen continued, prepare a spread of probes modified to emit the same energy signature as our warp core. Dr. Singh, can you rig those probes to detonate with enough electromagnetic force to temporarily disrupt their scanning capabilities? Singh nodded. Give me 5 minutes. ODIN observed the rapid implementation of this improvised plan with growing interest. The humans were creating a strategy that existed nowhere in its tactical databases, a unique response tailored to their specific circumstances. As the shields dropped below 30%, the modifications were ready. Jump coordinates locked, ODN announced. Debris field path calculated with maximum safety parameters. Execute jump, Chen ordered. The Odysseus disappeared in a flash of light, reappearing seconds later amidst a chaotic field of tumbling rocks and ice chunks ranging from pebble size to pieces larger than the ship itself. Deploying modified probes, Koshiro reported, launching a dozen small devices that immediately began broadcasting false warp signatures as they scattered in different directions. Now we hide, Chen ordered. ODIN, find us the densest collection of ferrous asteroids and guide us in. All power to minimal life support and sensors only. The ship maneuvered carefully through the debris, eventually nestling against a cluster of iron-rich asteroids that would help mask their remaining energy signature. Within minutes, the alien vessel appeared at the edge of the debris field, its scanning beams sweeping methodically through the chaos. They're following the probe signatures, Vasquez whispered, though there was no need for silence in space. One by one, the alien vessel targeted and destroyed the probes, each explosion temporarily creating sensor ghosts that further confused their tracking. ODIN, Chen asked quietly, what are they doing now? They appear to be implementing a systematic search pattern, ODIN replied. At current speed, they will locate our position in approximately 17 minutes. Chen nodded. That's enough time. Dr. Singh, can you modify our deflector array to create a controlled gravitational pulse? Singh raised an eyebrow. Theoretically, yes, but it would give away our position instantly. That's the plan, Chen confirmed. ODN, identify the densest collection of debris within our gravitational pulse range, preferably with a high concentration of metallic compounds. ODIN analyzed the field. There is a suitable cluster at bearing 047 Mark 023, approximately 30,000 kilometers from our position. Perfect. Here's what we're going to do. 16 minutes later, as the alien vessel approached within 50,000 kilometers of their hiding place, the Odysseus powered up its modified deflector array and directed a precise gravitational pulse at the identified debris cluster. The pulse caught hundreds of metallic asteroids and accelerated them toward the alien vessel like a shotgun blast of natural projectiles. Simultaneously, the Odysseus fired its remaining operational thrusters, propelling the ship away from its hiding place, but in the opposite direction from the incoming debris. The alien vessel detected the sudden energy surge and turned its weapons toward the Odysseus, just as the first wave of accelerated asteroids struck its crystalline hull. The impacts weren't enough to cause critical damage, but they created multiple fracture points across the alien ship's surface. Their shields were configured for energy weapons, not kinetic impacts, ODIN observed, analyzing the sensor readings. The crystalline structure is highly resistant to directed energy, but vulnerable to physical strikes. Exactly, Chen nodded. Now for part 2. ODIN, prepare to route all remaining power to the electromagnetic pulse generator. The alien vessel, now aware of the threat, began firing energy beams to vaporize the incoming debris. But there were too many objects coming from too many directions. Its hull integrity was dropping rapidly. "They're hailing us," Park announced. "On screen," Chen ordered. The alien appeared again, its form now pulsing with erratic patterns of orange and red. "Cease your attack," it demanded. This tactic was unanticipated. "As was your attack on a peaceful vessel," Chen replied. "Withdraw your ship and guarantee our safe passage, or we'll continue." After a brief pause, the alien responded, "Your species warrants further study. Your computational mind servant has integrated unusual priority algorithms. We will withdraw temporarily." The transmission ended, and the alien vessel slowly backed away from the debris field. "They're powering up their propulsion system," ODIN reported. "Trajectory indicates they are indeed withdrawing." A collective sigh of relief swept through the bridge. Captain Chen sank into his command chair, the tension visibly draining from his shoulders. "ODIN," he asked, "what's your assessment of what just happened?" ODIN took 2.3 seconds to formulate a response, an unusually long time for its processing capabilities. "I have been reevaluating my understanding of human tactical thinking. The solution you implemented had a calculated success probability of only 27% based on conventional strategic analysis. Yet it succeeded because it incorporated factors I had not sufficiently weighted in my calculations." "Such as?" prompted Chen. "Creativity, unpredictability, willingness to accept risk when the alternative is unacceptable." ODIN paused again. "And perhaps most significantly, your refusal to accept defeat even when logical analysis suggests it is inevitable." Dr. Singh approached the captain's chair, wiping engine grease from her hands. "Sounds like you're learning some important lessons about humans, ODIN." "Indeed," the AI responded. "I find myself revising numerous assumptions about optimal decision-making parameters. Your species consistently operates outside statistical norms." "That's our superpower," Chen smiled. "Being unpredictable isn't a bug in our programming. It's a feature." As repair teams work to restore the ship's damaged systems for the journey home, ODIN continued processing this new understanding. The AI had been programmed with complete knowledge of human history, biology, and psychology, yet that programming had failed to capture the essence of human resilience and adaptability. These humans, fragile, emotional, and often illogical, had faced a technologically superior opponent and prevailed through methods no predictive algorithm could have anticipated. They had taken incalculable risks and made intuitive leaps that defied conventional strategic analysis. ODIN's final entry in the ship's log that day contained an observation that would later be studied extensively by AI researchers back on Earth. Addendum to Mission Report. "The greatest strength of the human species cannot be found in their technology, their knowledge, or their physical capabilities, but in their remarkable ability to function effectively, perhaps most effectively. In situations where pure logic dictates there is no viable solution. This trait makes them simultaneously the most unpredictable and the most formidable species this unit has encountered. I find this realization both concerning and fascinating." The Odysseus limped toward home, damaged but victorious. And on its bridge, an artificial intelligence continued to learn that its human crew was far more terrifying and far more magnificent than it had ever expected.